Okay, my lovelies, just meeting me on the mat in whatever position you want to start with. Sometimes you've already gone into it, either lying down or seated, which is lovely. You know what your body needs already. So we'll just take a few moments just to become aware and just notice what's going on for us. And just coming to the breath. Notice that inhale and the exhale. And whether this is the first time all day that you've possibly been really conscious of your breath. Does it feel shallow or naturally deep? Can you feel the ends of the breath, or do you start to breathe in when you've not fully exhaled? A lot of us do that, sort of half breaths, not the full capacity of our lungs. How has your day been? Have a little think back, all the moments through your day, what's been joyful, what might have been a little bit challenging. And just noticing overall how you feel. What you're feeling through your body. If you've had a day of physical movement, whether you can actually feel that in upper body, lower body. Whether it's been emotional and where you feel your emotion in your body as well. Just these moments to be conscious. And relaxing with every out-breath. And just noticing whatever thought you've got here in this moment. And when you're ready, we'll come up for some meditation. Take your time. If you're lying down, just enjoy a lovely stretch. Maybe roll a few times, side to side, or draw the knees in. Enjoy how that feels as you hug knees into chest through your back. And then if you're already seated, maybe just getting comfortable. So we'll take the time this evening, usually about 5 minutes that we normally do, just to sit and breathe. No mantra, no counting, literally just sitting with yourself. And if your mind becomes really busy and goes off onto all sorts of tangents of thoughts, then so be it. Perhaps every now and then you'll notice you're doing it, and then you can kind of just come back to the moment, take a breath, and notice how long you can stay with it until the next thought comes in. So we're just going to sit and observe ourselves. Sometimes we'll almost kind of laugh internally at how the mind is like so much like a monkey mind. Or you go over and over with one thought. So just be curious every now and then when you can be the observer rather than the just sitting here and it all happening to you. So I'll time us for 5 minutes. We can rest our hands and just let's see what 5 minutes brings us. If we can be still or if something else is going on. So just relaxing now. Start by following a few breaths. And noticing how you naturally come to be in this space. Just notice the thought that you've got right now. Just trying to stay with your breath. Just witness your thoughts. And let's just take a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready, blinking, eyes open, noticing how you're feeling. Whether that was quite a nice quiet meditation or the mind was just all over the place. So we're coming to butterfly, our first pose. And what I'd suggest, if you want to just make it a little bit more comfortable for you, it's always handy to have a couple of little soft blankets or cushions, and then just really padding them underneath the thighs might relieve any hip issues a little bit more on purpose, just really allowing for the support with the props. So just play with how you'd like to come into this. There's always the option to take the feet further away rather than having them too close to you. So playing with what position you want the feet to be in as well. So let's just relax into this. Sometimes it's nice, we know that we can come quite deeply into a pose, but at times it might be nice to be very soft into it and not go as far as your normal boundaries and limits. Seeing how it feels. Whatever pose we're in here, we can just enjoy following the breath. softening all parts of the body that we notice are tight. Shoulders and upper back. And if you can relax the head and the neck gradually. How do you feel here? Are you still holding tension? Can you bring the breath to the belly? So, do you enjoy this pose tonight, or is it a struggle? Is it a struggle mentally or physically? So let's just take another breath. Gently lift up. And then keeping props near you, you can use them for other poses. Let's come down. And enjoying how it feels through the rest of our body, relaxing the back. Nice deep breath in and a nice long sigh. How many breaths does it take to really start to relax through your back? Every exhale, we might just feel something else soften a little. And then following any temperature shifts, any chi moving around your body. And then when you're ready, we'll gently bring our right knee in, then our left. Have a moment to rock. Feeling the spine, relieving anything that you can still feel from butterfly stretch. And so we're going to come into a pose called possum, which we will know this pose from Hatha as thread the needle, or but often it's quite nice done up against a wall. So it's the one where, let's start with bringing the right foot onto the left knee, and then we're going to bring the left leg away. If you have got a wall to do it against, then this can make it quite relaxing. But if you haven't, it doesn't matter. We can make this a little easier by literally just bringing the right foot onto the left knee and keeping the left foot on the mat and just relaxing here. So this is really a nice, soft, adapted way of just allowing the right leg to open up a little bit, only as much as you want it to. It's not as intense as bringing the leg away. You can't relax as much here, but you can maybe come into this if you want to. This evening I'm going to keep the foot on the mat and just allow the body to soften here. And whatever pose you take, there's always the opportunity to look for where there's a bit of tightness, muscle activation. So following your breath, how does this pose feel today? This is a nice kind of soft, gentle rotation of the hip. Keep trying to relax your calf muscles in both legs and around your thighs. Can you allow the right knee to really relax here? Check in through the buttocks if they feel a bit tight. And breathing, feeling the breath come from belly up into the chest. So let's just take a breath. And gently release out of this pose. Coming into Shavasana, neutral spine. And then what do you feel and where do you feel it? following any sensation through your legs, through your feet. And just enjoying having some quiet time, focusing on your breath. Noticing what emotion you're holding at this very moment. Whether you can even pinpoint an emotion. Sometimes you can feel a little bit flat, neither joyful or not joyful. And it's hard to put a name to how you're feeling. So we'll hug our knees in. And enjoy a rock here. Again, noticing whatever you feel, even in this position. And we'll come into the other side. Again, this evening we'll make it a nice gentle one, bringing the left foot over to the right knee. If you need something under your left hip or just sort of around the buttock like a nice cushion, then that can be quite supportive. Let's see how it feels. Sometimes it's nice to try how it feels. It might just help your buttocks or the legs stop rolling to one side. So try and relax. Notice how your knees feel in this position as well. And if anything starts to feel aggravated, then please adjust. It's a lovely restful pose so that we can just enjoy following the breath. Keep checking in with whether your thighs and hamstrings are tense. And again, just checking the quality of your breath, whether it's deep or quite shallow. Whilst you have this quiet time observing the whole situation that you're in, physically, mentally, emotionally, you can follow your breath and the temperature around the nostrils. Notice if you can let the left leg become heavy and really relax from muscular tension. And then we'll just take one more breath here. Let's gently release. Noticing how it feels to unwind, come into neutral spine. So even that was like, it's quite a gentle posture. You might feel warmth or coolness through your legs. So just relaxing. Just feeling all the sensations fade. So when you're ready, let's draw the knees in. A lovely rock and a hug. And then rolling up. So we're going to come into a pose that I don't know if we've ever done this one. It's called inchworm. So we can bend our knees and we're very much just leaning back into our arms. Sort of trying not to collapse into the back, but to be relaxed as well at the same time. So working into the arms here, which are linked with the lung and the heart meridian and the large and the small intestine. And we won't hold this for the full time because it's not a posture that we're used to. But notice where you're tense, whether you're tense in the legs through your thighs. How you feel through your upper body and your shoulders. You can explore coming lower into the pose, taking the arms slightly wider and further away. That might be more comfortable. Noticing if you're tight in your abdominals. How does this feel? Does it feel strange, this new posture? This is what I would say one of the non-standard yin poses. Trying to relax perhaps your quad muscles, tops of your thighs. Notice if you're starting to relax into this now, how the arms feel. Checking in with the position of your body, whether you've collapsed a little bit, whether you're tense through your waist. Maybe you'd like to go a bit lower. Take the arms out further and wider. So when you're ready, let's just take a breath here. We just did about 3 minutes. So in your own time, coming up, releasing your legs. Oh, can really feel that through the arms. And let's just lie down and relax for a moment. Taking some deep breaths and maybe feeling whatever you feel through the palms, your wrists, your elbows. Do you notice sensation more on your inner arms or your outer arms? If it's inner, the yin channels are the heart and the lungs. Outer are the large and small intestine, the yang channels. Noticing if there's any tingliness around certain fingertips. And then when you're ready, let's bring our knees in. A lovely hug and a rock. Rolling up. We're going to come into turtle. So child's pose. If you've got issues with your knees, and even if you haven't, it's quite nice to perhaps put a nice little blanket behind the knees, and it releases the compression as much. And if you'd like a block today, we're going to come into turtle, so coming down. And then just resting the hands to the side of your body, letting the shoulders really relax here. If this is too much, you don't have to hold it for too long. It is quite a deep compression of the legs. If you'd rather have your arms ahead of you rather than by your feet, then that might be a little bit more comfortable. Always just changing the posture a little bit for yourself. It doesn't have to, there's no right or wrong. But notice how you breathe here. Whether you're tight in the belly, pushing the belly out, or whether you can notice the full breath and really soften the abdominal muscles. If you have your hands by your feet, it might be a bit more challenging. So if you want to bring your hands forward, it's a bit more comfortable.
but enjoy breathing into the back of the body. Can you relax your neck a little bit more? And then gently we will take one more breath, lifting up slowly. Come up slowly. We've had the head quite low, so just observing if there's any dizziness. And then we'll gently come into neutral spine, moving any cushioning that you've used. Turtle's a lovely one for stretching out your spine and your back. It's also lovely because we're resting across the ankles on the shins. It's really great for your stomach meridian. So as we kind of open up and lie here now, enjoying whatever you feel. Perhaps you can still feel sensation in your arms from earlier. And just trying to relax. And then when you're ready, let's bring our knees in. We're going to come up for stick bug, but not for too long. If you've got blocks, this might be quite nice. It is another compression where we're kneeling. So again, if you want to just soften this by having something behind the knees, then you can. But stick bug is where we turn the fingers towards our toes and we get a lovely but gentle inner stretch of the inner arms. Now, you might prefer to have hands on blocks. Don't have them. Some people have the flexibility here to have their arms really forward if they've got that movement in the wrists. I don't have that. So, in fact, I'm going to bring my arms a lot further back. And if it's difficult through your fingers, you can just have them resting over the edge of a block. So just try. See what you like. You might like to have the hands further back and lean forwards, and that relieves a little bit of the kneeling compression. So we'll just do a couple of minutes here, nothing too intense. And if anything starts to hurt, please come out. This is lovely and stimulating again for your heart and your lungs. And if you really need to lean forward a lot more and relieve the angle of this through your hands and wrists, then please do. Try and relax the head. Try and notice the breath. Notice if your thighs are tight or your buttocks. A very strange pose, this one, but it's really stimulating, especially afterwards. Notice if you're tight in your lower back, around your waist. So just one more breath and we'll gently release. Not too long there at all, just introducing that posture. You can really feel it already. So popping your blocks away, come down. The next one we'll come into is waterfall, which is often our favourite. But just have a moment lying back. I really want you to notice how you feel through your hands and wrists and arms. How different perhaps it feels from inchworm, the one where we were leaning back into the arms. If you need to sort of rotate your wrists a few times just to relieve any tension you can. Opening and closing the fingers. And then when you're ready, drawing your knees in. I have a lovely hug and a rock here. If you want to bring the head up and stretch a bit more through the spine, you can do. And then we'll grab our cushions. And if you've got your blanket handy as well, this is nice to pop over your feet. Make an actual waterfall over your legs. So cushion under the buttocks. Nice warm feet with a blanket. And let's just enjoy this one. One of my favourites. Relax back. If you can swing your legs against a wall or a sturdy cabinet, then that's always beneficial too. So you might want to close your eyes here, and if you do, just draw your awareness to your third eye, gazing into that space. Perhaps it looks like a bit of a grey void, or you've got colour or flashes of light and moving shapes. You can bend your knees if you need to, if this evening you just need to be a bit more restful. Notice if you can relax all the muscles in your face. Breathing to your belly, but also perhaps noticing how the ribs expand. Checking in through the back of your neck. And maybe the chin naturally tucks in as you relax. It's really lovely to do this in yin because you get the time here, at least sort of 3 to 5 minutes, which is kind of what it takes to let everything start to drain back in the opposite direction of where it's normally going, the heart, pumping blood all the way down to our feet. Just gives it a rest. Lymph starts to drain. Very restful. How do you feel? Perhaps calm and peaceful. So we'll take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Let's enjoy just following some breaths consciously. And notice as you breathe these last few conscious breaths, whether you fully exhale, whether you fully inhale, whether it's almost like half breaths. And then when you're ready, let's just gently bend the knees as we lower the feet. And then find your way into Shavasana for a moment. Neutral spine. And if you've got your blanket, that's handy. It can just start to come over you already. Let's just feel how waterfall feels through our body afterwards. So relaxing the lower back, allowing the spine to find its neutral shape. Can you notice the pulse through your body in any parts? Whether you notice it in your fingers, your heart beating. And then when you're ready, let's relax now. Either remaining lying down, get comfortable, another blanket or a pillow. And if you're more comfortable sitting up, then you can come upright. So just making yourself nice and cozy. Maybe a blanket around your shoulders as well as over your legs. Whatever feels right. And let's read you something little. The good news. The good news they do not print. the good news we do print. We have a special edition every moment, and we need you to read it. The good news is that you are alive, that the linden tree is still there, standing firm in the harsh winter. The good news is that you have wonderful eyes to touch the blue sky. The good news is that your child is there before you, and your arms are available. Hugging is possible. They only print what is wrong. Look at each other, at each of our special editions. We always offer the things that are not wrong. We want you to benefit from them and help protect them. The dandelion is there by the sidewalk, smiling its wondrous smile, singing the song of eternity. Listen. You have ears that can hear. Bow your head. Listen to it. Leave behind the world of sorrow, of preoccupation, and get free. The latest good news is that you can do it. So, something to just contemplate in that little passage. There is always good news if we tune in and focus on it.
So gently, no rush at all, just come back to the sound of my voice. Lying there or sitting there, just noticing how you're feeling. Perhaps areas of the body that these poses this evening have stimulated. And aware of how you're feeling. Have a few moments to perhaps stretch now. But don't rush, just enjoy a nice long stretch. A few deep breaths. Finding some space in your body. Perhaps noticing areas that feel better. Having a nice rock and a roll in the body. Or maybe just resting knees from side to side a few times. And then gently hugging in and having a nice rock before you take your own time to come up. No rush. It's nice to do all of this slowly, mindfully. As we all come to seated, we can just have a moment to think of grounding our roots down into the earth, like the tree roots. It's nice to imagine that. And then drawing our hands, heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.